Good evening, afternoon, wherever you're at in the world. Sorry for the stream starting a little bit late. We just kind of got some stuff finalized here and just got ready to go. So the aircraft's pretty much set up. We're at Bozeman. Basically, all we have to do at this stage is brief the departure, do our checklist, push back, and get underway. It's about a 2-hour and 10-minute flight, so be a lot of chit chat once we get up to cruise, and then right before the top of descent, we'll do our briefing and set up for the RNAV 25 into Thunder Bay in Canada. This is we just kind of put this together. We did a flight from Denver to Bozeman. That was the first time we flew together, really, in the 321, and this is the second sector, and I think we're just going to continue right on going all the way around the world from here, just alternating flights as a pilot flying, pilot monitoring. So if you have any questions or anything like that during the flight, you can certainly text, and then I can also give you Max's stream as well. He's the pilot monitoring on this one. And we should be ready to go. We're set to push in about 10 minutes.
You want the link for my stream? It's actually displayed on the check the ToLiss Discord. It's in the videos stream and video section. I've put all the links for you and me. Interested to see the both screen at the same time, but you can't exactly take the text I've put in Discord and put it back on your side. It's exactly. ToLiss stream is in the video. Okay, well, let me copy that and paste it back to you. No, but I got a YouTube as well, so don't worry. I'll paste it to you now. There you go. Yeah. Alright, so while you're doing that, I'm actually going to check the doing my bit of my flow. Engine master 1, 2 off. Sec norm. Weather radar off. Landing gear down. Wipers both at off, yep. Battery check, auto. External power. Alright, so we are running AP, right? No GPU.
That's correct.
Okay.
Jeez.
APU fire. APU test, okay.
I just put a stream there for Max up in the description.
Cockpit light.
He's the pilot monitoring, so you can certainly watch his stream as well if you want.
Ecam recall. Yep, okay. Alright, now. So Sandman is the pilot flying, and I am the pilot monitoring tonight. Alright, so press. Oxygen is good. Pressure, okay, hydraulic quantity. Okay. Where do you see the engine oil quantity and hydraulic quantity?
It's on the engine page. Okay, so this one it's on the engine page. So this one is like the Neos. I don't know if the FADEC, if this panel is active. Okay, so we can cheat.
Yeah, put it back to ignition and then we see that.
Okay, so once you do it and turn it back, there's a delay before it goes away.
Before it goes away, so yeah. PSI, okay. Parking brake handle on. Logbook and fine. Airfield data. Okay. So this is where I need to set that up. I would love to see the real movement of the engine master switch on the ToLiss. Well, the thing is that we're kind of focusing on the systems themselves, not the animation of it. So I agree, it make you probably really happy, but to be honest, it's a lot of work for little. To be honest, we're an engineer team. Initially, we're engineers behind. So the engineers and the way their brain are actually set up, they don't really care about the small aesthetic details. They worry about the veracity and the closeness and rich and righteous way of the system working. All right. 13542. Okay.
Bozeman Yellowstone INTL Information Sierra. 1800 Zulu weather. Wind 350 at 11, visibility more than 10. Sky conditions 4,500 scattered, 6,500 broken, 10,000 overcast, Temperature 3, dew point -9. Altimeter 3005. Arriving runways 3029, departing runways 3029. Advise on initial contact. You have Sierra.
It's freezing actually. 3 degrees Celsius. Oh yeah, it was snowing earlier.
You got to do, yeah, I've just do the QNH over here.
Wind
Yeah.
350 at 11. Visibility more than 10.
I've already set that up. I got a cheat to actually set quickly the QNH.
6,500 broken. 10,000 overcast. Temperature 3.
.350 at 11 knots.
And I don't know, does the ToLiss take into account the winds?
I think it does. You can set that up usually.
I guess maybe it just senses it, I guess, yeah?
You can request that on the ground. I think you can request the winds. I can't remember exactly where. Access wind data, and then I request the winds. There, I got it.
Oh, in the MCDU, yeah, I see what you're saying. Okay, so there's the climb winds. You shouldn't have to do it at all phases. Are you showing all the winds in there?
In all phases?
Yeah, it should just be.
I have not checked. I see the climb phase, but I don't see the cruise phase. So you can try to request it, but I don't know if this is going to work.
Okay, let's see what the fuel prediction is. Yeah, see, it's got no. Doesn't have any times for us.
Yeah. For the acres, maybe that depends. Honestly, we are looking into if the network actually is having enough subscribers, or at least enough people that we want to support it, then it might make sense. Depending on how postcon works, actually, we might go into trying to see if we can support postcon depending on the number of people that we'll be flying. It's always a matter in the end, unfortunately for you guys. I can understand this is frustrating, but this is the way business works, is that it depends on the investment in terms of time we do on the plane, and overall behind it the return over investment. So is that the problem is that you buy the plane once, but it's almost a lifetime of support as long as we stay in Xplane11 version. So
right. Are you all set?
I am.
Okay.
Hold on. I've done the I've done the preliminary, but I need to do the oh, but you've already done the alignment, right? That is done already.
Yeah, everything's
because
aligned.
we got the plane. Okay.
Yep.
Loudspeakers, adjust PFD brightness. I'm fine with that. Maybe a bit more. Yeah, I'm done with the cockpit preparation on my end.
Okay. Let's make sure I got everything running here. All right, so we're just here at gate 5, and we're just going to do an auto start. We're going to push back nose left, and it'll be a taxi out to runway. Let me pull up my charts here. 30.
Yep.
We'll initially take the ramp out to Alpha 3, and then Alpha we're going to have to cross runway 21, and then Alpha 1 for departure. That'll be a standard takeoff, packs on, weather radar on, and I think that's in op, right? The weather radar doesn't work, or does it?
It does work. We just have to put it correctly, set it up correctly. But we'll look into it once we go airborne.
Okay. No precip outside. We are 10 and below, but since no precip, engine and wing anti-ice will be off for takeoff. For the box, we got the current database, which I loaded today, which is 2004, correct engines and aircraft. We're Bozeman, Montana to Thunder Bay, and we're going to be taking it over at 35,000 with Minneapolis as the alternate. With well, this planning was done by SimBrief, but I'm not. Normally, I put in a fuel factor of a couple percent, but this has got us pretty much taken off and landing at min fuel, at planned fuel with no extra at the alternate, so it's close to min.
Okay.
But we'll see how it does, because I'm not sure if the winds have been factored in here, the cruise winds. So see, let me look at my. Hang on a second. I'll just put this in real quick.
Okay.
Yeah, the average. Let's call it 18. So I can't really do it here, but because we've already put in the cruise winds and stuff, there's nowhere to put it in here. So, but that's okay. We know we're going to perform a little bit better because we should have some tailwinds here. Let me look at the flight plan. Let's see. Winds. Yeah, sort of. They're out of the west-northwest at 43, 42, so we'll definitely be landing with better than that.
Yeah, the problem here that we have is the MCDU will only take the local weather since Xplane only shows up the weather around the plane. You're not really able to do more than the climb phase unless you already have the information on. Because the problem with it that it loads up the weather from Xplane, and the weather from Xplane is actually depicted close. I mean, a couple tiles around the plane, so you can't really go further along the flight plan. So that's why the wind request for now is not working on the other phases, because obviously we're too far away from the other phases.
Okay, didn't know that. Okay,
that's
so
one of the issues we're having with Xplane on that, yeah, for sure.
Version 11.5. Any potential fixes there or no?
No, that's unexplained stuff. As long as they don't touch the weather and they don't really change the way they're dealing with the weather, there's no really going to be any changes on that. You can manually set those if you want, but the wind request for now only works close to your works on your current profile. So depending if you're on climb, cruise, or descent.
Okay. So with 11 tons of fuel on board and balance, it's going to give us a takeoff weight of 77.1. I've got 77.2 right now on the flight plan, so that's good. Just an extra 0.13 minutes at destination. For the performance, it's going to be runway 30, flaps 2, 0.2 down. Flex is toga, actually doing a toga takeoff. 4851 with 1,000 AGL thrust and excel, and 1,500 AGL is the engine out for the takeoff. I'll run through the chart. You just double check in the box the departure here, fix by fix, so that we make sure we got everything.
Okay.
It's going to be, of course, we have different plates, so it's going to be the Bobcat 4 RNAV departure out of Bozeman. Mm-hmm. And, well, the plates won't matter, but it is the current chart. It's going to be off of runway 30. So initial climb is on a heading of 303 to intercept, and that should be in the box. The intercept course is 313 to Church, and then on track of 137 to Hylett, and then 072 to cross Bobcat at or above 11,000 with a top altitude of 16. So that's going to be our clearance initially is 16. For the routing from Bobcat via transition, we'll maintain 16 and expect filed altitude 10 minutes after departure. So that's basically lost comms procedures.
Okay.
High terrain in the area, so probably what I'll do is to get some altitude. Right now our green dot clean is 228, so what I'll do is set 235 initially as the speed pre-select, and we'll climb out at 235 initially until we get some altitude just to make our crossing, and then we'll continue on. Not necessary, but it's just something I want to see how well it's modeled in the sim.
Okay.
And then from there, it's a flight plan route, which just verify we should have. Let me find it here on the flight plan. After Billings, it's direct to Mike Lima Sierra, and then direct to Golf Foxtrot Kilo, direct TIGAG, and the TIGAG one into Thunder Bay.
So after Billings, you said I got Mike Lima Sierra, Golf Foxtrot Kilo, and then we've got discontinuity.
Okay, so clear after Golf Fox Kilo, and then delete that, and it should be TIGAG.
Okay.
There you go. I was playing with that before we started the stream, but that should be it. And then I went ahead and threw in the RNAV 25 into Thunder Bay just to have something in there. Give us a little more accurate predictions.
Okay.
That's it for the secondary. I just basically put in returning back to Bozeman, and then it's going to be the 30, and that's via, let's see, what did I put in there? The Bainey 3. So if we have to return for some emergency reason or whatever, then it's back here. And the performance is also set with the current ATIS that you got, which is on. I just set that. Secondary.
I've already got the information.
Okay.
So we are information is Charlie.
There it is.
Yeah, information Charlie. We've got a wind 350 for 11 knots. Active is 30. And QNH is 1018, which is translated to 30.05.
Okay, very good. And then for the RNAV 30, I'll just put 4792, which is 50 feet added for CDFA. So that's just if we have to return. That's all that's in there for.
Okay.
Okay, so we're not expecting any emergencies. So other than something messing up with the sim or control or something like that, we'll just reset the situation from the air and continue. So there's no need for an emergency brief. So 16 is set at the top. It'll be, let's see, what is our max landing? 77.8. So we're looking good at return if we had to, being underweight. Find it there, 77.1. That's all I have. If there's no questions, and a before start checklist.
No questions. So should we push back first and start after?
We'll start during the pushback, but let's just run the checklist, and then you have control of the pushback as well, as you know.
I have already planned the pushback for now.
Okay, very good.
So I'll call the pushback now.
Yep, run the checklist. And
Ground cockpit, TOW is driving up.
All right, TOW's coming up.
Okay. I don't see him. I wonder.
It's probably going to come up at some point.
Through the building? Okay. Well, while we're waiting for him, let's do the... there he is. Let's do the before start checklist.
Yep.
Read away.
Cockpit prep.
Completed.
Completed. Gear pins in cover. Removed.
They're removed.
Signs.
On and auto.
8 years.
Is nav.
Fuel quantity.
Okay, all doors and hatches are closed. Ready
11
to connect.
tons on board.
Takeoff data.
Set.
Power ref.
I got 3005 set.
3005 set.
All right, tug's ready to connect. Let's go below the line.
Below the line. Windows and doors.
Closed.
Closed. Beacon.
On.
Thrust levers.
Idle.
And parking brake.
It's on.
Before start checklist. Done.
That's all right. Let's go.
Alright, so let's wait for this guy to, as he said, if he okay.
Tow connected and bypass pin inserted. Release parking brake.
Alright, parking brake.
Okay, it's released. Pressure 0.
Starting pushback. And you may start engines.
Alright, we can start engines.
Okay, start number 2. Okay, pressure's good. It's not bad scenery for free.
Yeah.
I was surprised whenever I looked at it.
Yeah, well, those are some of the assets here are actually the ones stock from Xplane. So it's just the guy that took time to actually place those objects.
Okay.
But it's quite good, I agree. It's very good, actually. Oops.
Right. Good start on 2, start 1.
Yeah, good start on 2 as well. I got it confirmed.
When I used to PAX back and forth in the back in uniform, you know, going for repositioning flight, that noise is the PTU that you hear.
Yeah, the
And-
barking.
And people that have never flown on it would always, look at me. Is that normal? I just kind of give them the raised eyebrows and kind of shrug my shoulders.
Operation complete. Set parking brake.
Alright, he's requiring parking brakes.
Okay.
Alright, parking brake set.
Brake set,
Disconnecting tow.
pressure.
Stand by.
Got to remember to use my number pad. All right, 2 good starts.
Yep, confirm on my end, Isa. Okay, you should save now the situation, just in case.
Okay, gotcha. ToLiss, ICS, and just hit save.
Yeah, put a name and save it.
Okay, done.
Alright. So let me go through my
Tow
flow
is
for the after
disconnected and
chat.
bypass pin has been
To
removed.
start.
Hand signal on the right. We'll see you next time and have a safe flight.
Thank you, sir. Tree. Alright, the only thing I will ask is if you could also set the trim.
Oh, I have to do that,
downwards.
don't I?
Yeah, because the sync is not done yet on that.
All right, let me.
I have it set on my end, but it must be at 0 on your end probably.
Okay, there it is.
Alright. Ecam status.
All right,
Okay.
when you're ready, after start. There's the wave.
Yep, let's go for the after start. After start checklist, anti-ice.
Is off.
Ecam status.
Checked.
Pitch trim.
It is. This is okay. 29.1% set.
Roger.
Correction. Sorry, this is different than the software that we have. I don't see the takeoff CG on here. Just the. Oh yeah, there it is. 29.1.
Where do you see it?
It's on the fuel prediction page, but it's an older software version.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally different.
Okay. Okay. I see. Rudder trim.
Is 0.
After start checklist complete.
Just make up some sort of squawk if you want, and then the transponder's on auto.
Yeah, I'll
Okay.
put something like.
And then start this. Sorry, the timer. Okay. All right, clear on the left.
So should I set the transponder now?
Yeah, no, just leave it. Yeah, just set the squawk, and it's on auto.
Okay.
So yeah, that's the.
Yeah, but for now I
TCAS.
got no TR. Okay, but the TD. Okay, all right, okay.
Yeah, that's a totally different unit than what we have as well. So.
But the TRA basically is set when you're approaching the runway, right?
If you cross a runway, you put it on, or when you're right before we take off.
Oh, okay.
All right, clear on the left, ready for taxi.
Yeah, okay. Let's go.
Let's do it. Let's see how it works. Got all my buttons set. All right, brake check. Well, the tiller's not working so well. Let me see if I can get this fixed with the ToLiss.
Yeah, but it depends also on Smart Copilot. You should try on your end solo and see if that is okay.
Okay, let's see if I can do it with the rudder. Because the
rudder should be working.
The tiller is assigned.
Okay, but I don't have any tiller assigned on my end, so maybe that's why it's not.
Okay, so the
working
rudder's
well.
working. The rudder pedal's working. That'll work just fine then.
Okay.
I can live with it. Okay, once we get out on the taxiway, I'll do the flight control check.
Okay. So do you want a heading for the takeoff set manually or?
It's going to nav up on its own.
Okay.
Okay, so we make a left here and then a right. Just double check me.
I will check if the. Okay, I'm checking now if the radar is supposed to work. I think it should be working. We'll see if that draws anything. I just don't know.
It's a little weird doing all these turns with the rudder pedal.
I agree. What a break. Max.
Yeah, the way you test it is just simply go to manual, multi-scan manual, and tilt it way down, and you should get radar returns.
Yeah, but this is not working.
Okay, gotcha. All right, you ready for flight control checks?
I'm ready for flight control check.
Okay, here we go. So then you call full up. You see
requested.
No. You see on the
okay.
Yeah, on the flight control page, you would just report full up.
Okay. Hold on. Let me check. Okay, go ahead.
Okay, here we go.
Okay, full up. Full down.
And then neutral.
Neutral. Right.
Well, that's full left.
Full left. Full right. Neutral.
Now I can't disconnect the rudder, so we're going to do it quick. So I'll go full left, full right, and then neutral. Ready?
Okay. All right. Left. Right.
Do you know if the
Neutral.
tiller push button works or no?
It works, but you have to push something on the ISCS. There's something to set up on the ISCS to. There's an option to tick actually.
Okay, so let me give
all
you.
of that is overrated.
So let me give you the controls, and you do everything but the rudder.
Okay, let's go.
Okay. Okay, there you go.
Okay, I'm going. Up.
Hey, yeah, you just do those silently.
Okay, I'm done.
Boy,
You have you have control.
that is smooth. All right, so strobe lights on, please, and put the transponder to the TCAS to TARA anytime you cross a runway.
All right.
So strobe lights on, please.
Check.
And I'm clear on the left. And you're clear right, clear to cross.
All right.
Man, I just wonder if this these taxiways look nice. Maybe I'm just so used to flying on BMS. not to knock it, but yeah, I've been doing that solid for. Okay, strobe lights off and TCAS back to off.
Gotcha.
Okay, there's no changes in the briefing. It's as briefed. We got flaps 2. It'll be nav'd up on departure. It'll fly departure on nav. As soon as we get airborne, I'll turn the autopilot on. And underweight for a return. Questions?
No questions.
Okay, before takeoff, checklist.
Flight controls.
Check.
Checked. Flight instruments.
Is checked.
And checked. Briefing.
Confirmed.
Flap setting.
I've got config. Hang on a second. Let me make this turn here. All right. And I'll go ahead and stop. All right, the flap setting is config 2.
2 set. Okay, rotation speeds.
So it would be, you would say V1, VR, V2,
V1, VR, V2, and flex temp.
148, 148, 151 Toga.
Yep, 148, 148, 151, and Toga. ATC.
Is set.
And ECAM memo.
Let's take off no blue. All right, so we're cleared for takeoff, yeah.
All right, yeah. Let's consider we're clear for takeoff.
So down to the line, lights are on, strobe is on, runway is clear, approach path is clear, line up and wait below the line.
Below the line, takeoff runway.
Is 30 confirmed.
Yeah, 30 confirmed. Cabin crew.
Advised.
TCAS.
Oops, wrong side. TCAS goes to TARA now.
Yep. Set. Engine mode select.
Is normal.
Packs.
They are on.
Before takeoff, checklist complete.
All right, here we go. Do my best on the lineup here. Whoop. Oh man, my brakes. Hit your brakes. Hit your brakes.
Oh. The brakes are not working on your end.
Well, it is, but it just took a long time for them to engage. So
This is something I figured that it's not working great. I don't know why yet. I need to check why. The brakes I know is not working great when you're not the master.
gotcha.
I have to check. I have to check why. It's not the first time. I have to feedback.
Flight plan on your side, if you would, please. So if we have to make any edits, we got them.
Oh, sorry.
Okay. So flight plan on your
There
end,
we
CDU
go.
performance on mine.
It's done.
And okay, I think we're all set. Ready?
Ready?
Here we go.
Let me know when you release brakes.
Okay. And brakes release. Takeoff.
Released.
All right,
Toga.
Mantoga SRS auto thrust blue.
Confirm.
Let's check the thrust.
Toga.
Thrust set. 100 knots checked. This is what annoys me with the up and down, but it's not too bad.
V1. Rotate.
Wow. Okay. Positive climb. Gear up.
Gear up.
Nav and AP1, please. Nav's already set. Just engage autopilot 1.
Okay. AP1 set.
Okay. Thrust climb, climb, auto thrust white.
Checked.
Flaps 1.
Flaps 1.
And just wait for my call though. Flap 0.
Flap 0.
All right, speed set to 238. That's good.
Have you set that manually?
Yeah, I did it on the ground in the performance climb
Okay.
page and after takeoff climb checklist.
After takeoff, climb checklist. Landing gear.
Is up,
Flaps.
retracted.
Packs.
They're on.
And below the line. Oh no, you
yeah.
want to notice this after once we
Yep.
cross the transition, right? Okay.
So disarm the speed or the ground spoilers and turn the nose and runway turn off lights off. The 2 outer lights on the overhead.
Yep. Okay. The landing lights already off? I thought it was at 10,000 that you...
No, those 2 are on up here.
Okay.
I don't-
But the turn ones. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. So I see how it works.
Yeah. We're okay.
Yeah. I'm just playing with it. Sorry.
Yeah, no worries.
Okay. Yeah, that's it.
We're right in the middle of the clouds now. Is the no? There's no rain, so it's not going to show up anything on Xplane.
Engine anti-ice on, please.
Engine anti-ice. What the fuck is that again? I forgot.
Right above the nav logo light.
Yeah. With the mouse it's horrible. Window, engine 1 and 2.
Okay. Any kind of ice simulation on this for the wings or any airframe icing or anything like that?
It's supposed to do it, yeah.
Okay, speed is managed. 10,000 checks. Put the terrain on my side as well.
So usually is it either the terrain or the weather, but you can't have both on the screen, right?
You can, but the pilot flying usually has the weather, and the pilot monitoring has
okay.
the terrain. Yep. So there's 10,000. We'll just do them now. So it's all the lights off. Well, the landing lights off now. And then chime the seatbelt, so off and on. That notifies the cabin. And then you can go down to the nav page, a rad nav page on the MCDU.
Yep.
And clear. the hard tune navs, so clear boson on each side. It'll auto tune. And copy active. Now I don't remember if this is going to work, but take this.
No, the active is for the secondary flight plan. You mean?
Yeah, try copy active and see.
Okay,
if it
I'm going
works.
to copy active to see. No, it's not working.
Okay, no problem.
We already reported that last time, so it's
Gotcha.
it's already on there.
All right, I'm going to get above these clouds. Speed is selected, and let's go 290. And we'll say we've been clearance on up to 35,000. So 350 blue is set.
Any specific reason you would put 290 for the climb?
You see the clouds up ahead? I'm just trying to see if we can get above them.
Okay.
Yeah, stay out of icing conditions, or I mean, I don't know if the radar's working or not.
Actually, we have to try. It's there's a position for that to be working. Hold on, I'm removing your terrain radar.
Sure.
I don't know if that's going to work. No,
Okay.
I'm trying. Let me check the data refs actually. Maybe there's something about it.
Okay, so the grid mora in this area is 14, and on the airway it is. Well, the MEA is 18, but oh, weather's acting weird.
Oh, maybe it has
Alright.
refreshed.
Yeah, you can get rid of the engine anti-ice for a while.
Okay. Off.
You know, one of these days that this will all be working wonderfully. I keep getting the weather to refresh. Yeah, the clouds keep going away and then they pop back up.
Oh, so there's a problem with the refresh, right? Of the weather.
Yeah, it just kind of it keeps going away and popping back up.
Okay. Do you have anything that is currently trying to force the weather stuff?
I just put real world weather.
So that's why.
Can I go up to the menu and get rid of it, or are we going to have to pause
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, no, it's okay. You can remove it, and so I am the one forcing up the weather currently.
Ah, so what should I do with the weather?
In this case, just remove any custom plugin that you have.
No, it's just matching real world conditions in the normal settings.
Yeah, but you have a plugin that is. You said real world weather. No, or it's.
No, I disabled it.
Let me check.
Okay. Let's climb.
Okay, so since you're going to go below the line, just to.
Yeah, let's set standards. Thank you, and below the line.
All right, barrel ref
Standard set.
and standard set. Okay, after takeoff climb checklist complete.
So, well, I've got that plugin, but I disabled it. It's Fly with Lua, and I stopped.
How it's called?
It's called Fly with Lua, Lua.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
But the script itself, how is the script is called?
I forget, but I told it to stop running all scripts. So, but the weather seems to have settled down now.
Okay.
Is there any minimum frame rate that we're looking for?
I don't know. I'm using the 3J FPS plugin, so it's automatically configuring the Xplane engine, graphical engine settings, so I can perform with the right amount of FPS that I need. So it will always maintain the target of minimum 30 FPS and maximum like 50. So it will tune the settings automatically.
Hey, real quick, do you see managed speed on your side, magenta?
Yeah.
Okay, it will not go managed on mine. When I push it in, it shows managed, but then when I okay, there we go.
Yeah, there's a sync. It's a known issue.
All right, I had to hold it in.
But you had a dot, right?
I had the dot. I had to hold it in. When I held it in for like a second, then it engaged.
Yeah, it's a refresh problem with Smart Copilot. This is something we need to work on. It's a known issue.
Okay.
So no need to worry. No need to worry. It's actually the management mode is actually working, but this is just a problem that we have with the plugin because it thinks that it received a new input from the master. So that's why you see something that you're not supposed to see.
Turn the seatbelt sign off. And right about now is the time I'd be taking my headsets off, but we can't do that here.
Because that would be the one checking the ATC, right?
Well, yeah, but I mean, these headset we're wearing are pretty comfortable, so.
Yeah, compared to the one you have in the plane, right?
All right, so let's see what the fuel prediction page shows now. Nothing on Mini. And now, yeah, so we got an extra 0.3 now that we're up in the winds.
Okay.
Yeah. I see weather. It's like
Do you have something?
Yeah. Do you see it on my side or no?
I don't.
So you probably have to put it on your side.
No, but there's a sync issue on that. I don't know why.
Ah, okay.
I have. There's definitely a sync issue on that. I'm currently trying to figure out what I can do on for this.
Okay. So, I mean, you don't have to do it, but just for some insight, there goes the weather again. I don't know. I mean, can I go up here and like if I go into plugins and go to plugin admin, can I disable it that way?
What, fly with Lua?
Yeah.
But it's not going to do anything if you said do not load the scripts, basically. It's,
well, I don't know much about it, so I went ahead and unchecked it.
Well, you can go and stop the Lua engine if you want.
So I went into enable disable plugins and I unchecked it.
Yeah, and it did something on my end.
So maybe that's what was trying to force it. So anyway, what I was going to say is what you would do to keep track of, well, to keep track of obviously the performance of the aircraft, fuel, check for leaks and stuff, is you would monitor the flight, and every 30 minutes you would check on the flight plan that the fuel that we're supposed to have at a certain fix is actually what we do have. And that's how you can help to determine if there are any leaks or anything like that. So I'll drag, let's see, what I probably have to do is set up my, let me see if I can set up my OBS. But if you look on your flight plan and look at the fuel that we're supposed to have over the fix, repo is what I think it's called.
Over, so
repo. So if you look on the flight plan, that shows, let me find repo.
Where is it? So, let's see. Okay, repo, yeah.
So it shows estimated fuel on board and actual fuel on board. So what you would do is look down at your MCDU and go down, arrow to the left, sorry, and look and show what fuel shows over repo.
9.3 on my end.
9.3, okay. So according to the flight plan, we're supposed to have 9.7. So we're about 400 behind.
Okay.
But
Well, we stayed on the ground a bit
Right.
with the APU on, so.
so what you would do is you would write 9.3, and then you would go down the flight plan based on the burn from that point at each fix and fill out the fuel all the way down. You do the same with the times, and then you would just every 30 minutes monitor those times.
So you would what, change something here?
No, you would just simply monitor to see how your
Okay.
to see how
How
your
your-
fuel
how
burn
it's
and your
actually- okay.
timing is going as we progress. And also we took off late as well.
Yeah. Okay.
So you would have to update the takeoff time and write that down above the very first fix of the airport. And then, okay, so this, for example, in this flight plan, your estimated en route time is to the left. So, for example, if you see Church, the very first fix after Bozeman, it's 3 minutes to Church. So if we took off, let's say, at 21:10, so we should be over Church at 21:13, Pilot 14, Bobcat 16, etc. And then you just go down there, and then, like I said, every 30 minutes you double check those. And also what you would do is an RVSM check before you get to 29,000. Now these are probably synced perfectly. So I'll say 28.3, and then as I say 28.3 now, you just double check yours. And you would do that every hour. So let's do 28.5 and see how accurate it is. So I'm passing level.
So you're comparing basically from your initial flight plan to and prediction to
Yes.
what we see now.
Exactly. And then that lets you know if you're on track with your planning. And it also lets you know if you've got a fuel leak. For example, if you go down, and of course in this airplane you wouldn't have that. But if you look at the fuel, and we've used 1680 so far, right?
Yeah.
And we have a fuel on board of 9.1, or excuse me, yeah, 9.1.
Yeah.
So 9.180 plus 1690, if you do the math, what's that come up to? Almost 11, right?
Yeah, almost 11, which was actually
A
what we
little bit
started
less. Little bit less when we finally got pushed back, because the burn doesn't start until the engines are on,
Okay.
because it resets.
So it doesn't count the APU
No,
burn?
no. So it'll reset when you start the engines, and so that's how you. So if, for example, the fuel used plus the fuel on board does not match the fuel you took off with, then you have a fuel leak, a potential leak.
Okay.
And these are things you're
Okay.
checking.
You're checking on
yeah,
a regular basis to,
exactly.
to avoid having surprise. Okay.
And this also gives you something to do if you don't have anything to talk about. So, yeah. And then just the standard stuff, when we level off at cruise, I'll check all the systems pages and, make sure there's, because some things will pop up that are not necessarily, will not trip an advisory, but if you catch them early. I remember we were taking off out of, we were going from Medina, which is a special airport, mountainous terrain, to Riyadh. It's just about an hour flight. I just got back from, being off for like 20 days. And we just got up to cruise. I think it was like 31,033. And I just took a sip of coffee, and as I turned back towards the front, something out of the corner of my eye caught my attention, and it was an advisory. And if you look on the upper display there, that'll show up in the center just below the leading edge of the slats. Right down there where the three white lines meet, you'll get a flashing ADV. And as soon as I saw that, I caught the engine vibrations, and it was the N2. Was it the N2 or the N1? I think it was the N1. Was 8.5 on vibrations, which is high vibrations. So.
Okay.
Yeah, and of course I've been off for 20 days, right? I hadn't been, paying. I forget about flying when I go home. But anyway, so things like that will pop up, and you're also just checking for that stuff, by flipping through the engine pages, looking for anything that's out of the normal. And I like to do that every time we do a fuel check. I like to, a 30-minute check. I like to breeze through here and just, and plus also you kind of see what the airplane normally does in flight. For example, see there's no fuel temperatures below the fuel tanks on the fuel page, and they would normally be on the outside at the bottom there. So you want to check your fuel temperature. Of course, this is a 321 and it's an older software, but I'm sure the fuel temps are supposed to be there.
Yeah, we spoke about that, and we'll see. It's feasible.
Okay. So yeah, that's just different things that you check as you go through. Same thing with the IDG chimps. You'd be looking at those as well. In the summertime in Saudi Arabia, they'll get pretty warm, sometimes into the advisory level, and you may have to kick out an IDG for a while to cool it down. Which is okay if you have a APU, so just, start the APU, use the APU gen. Alright, so I'm just going to set the vertical speed here. Let me try something. Let me think about it here. I set some buttons on my stick. I got to try to remember which ones they are here. Yep, very good. So I'm going to set the vertical speed for 900 so it's not bouncing up and down. I'll just monitor it.
Okay.
All right, so VS plus 900.
I'm trying to figure out the weather. Do you guys still have the weather? No, you can't see a thing on the weather now because there's no rain or anything showing up.
Yeah. Unless it's a developed cell, you're not going to see stuff with just regular clouds because it's all ice crystals anyway.
Yeah.
So it's a little bit bigger. I need to see why my X-planes, I've got my Navigraph sim charts on my iPad, but for some reason the sim link or whatever X-plane uses, I bet there's a setting I have to check. That's right. I have to go up into the settings, I think, and tell it to send that data out.
I'm checking a couple things in terms of values in Xplane to see what could be the reason why I'm not showing up the weather, or at least why it was not showing before.
I notice I'll stop playing around with the menus, but I notice when I pull the menu out, we kind of desync a little bit.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so when I was looking at that menu, when I came back, the gauges jumped, so I'm not sure if that's normal or what.
It's not supposed to pose anything in Xplane, so I'm kind of surprised to see that.
1,000 to go.
So basically, what, 200 before it would disable the vertical speed to.
Just whenever it gets into capture outstar.
Okay.
I've reduced it a little bit. You don't normally like to use vertical speed because you have no protection.
Yeah.
So, but if you're following your procedures and you're announcing everything you do, everybody in the cockpit's aware. So, you just got to watch it more carefully. Just sometimes when you get up to the higher altitudes, especially with wind shifts and temperature changes, that managed or open climb will just be up and down, and you have to maintain at least 500 foot a minute, or you have to tell the ATC you can't.
Okay.
Otherwise, they'll start barking at you. So there's out cruise.
Yep.
And here we go. So I set the TCAS. Can you set the TCAS to below?
I will.
And the reason I do that, I mean, sometimes it's standard to be all, but the reason I do that is if we have to do an emergency descent, and I want to be looking down far, you know, at what's down below. And good chance you'll forget to do that whenever that happens. So we'll put that below. And then I just check the system pages. That's it. Just looking for anything out of kilter. Tell you another story. We were coming out of India, and just during the climb out, we got an auto feed fault. So what that means is up on the fuel panel, the mode select in the center, if that is failed, you have to manage the fuel yourself. And the way that works, in this one we have transfer pumps. We don't have center tank pumps. So in this one they transfer from the center tank to the wings, the ACTs from them to the center and then into the wings. But in the 320, the pumps actually transfer, you know, out into the engine. So what happens is the engine burns from the wings until they lose about 500 kg from full. And then the center pumps turn on and they pump into the engines. But what happens is some of that fuel goes through the IDG to cool it and goes back into the wing tanks. So when the center tank pumps are on, they're actually filling those wing tanks back up. So the wing tanks will fill back up until full, and then the center tank pumps will turn off and the cycle starts again. So it uses that fuel to cool the IDGs, and the IDGs warm up the fuel, put it back in the tank to keep the fuel at a warmer temperature, right?
Well, you use everything you have.
Yeah, that's very slick. It's a fuel oil heat exchanger. So that was failed, right? So we have to do that manually. So, of course, I wait for the center tanks to, you know, the wing tanks to burn down, and then, you know, I turn on the center tanks, and, you know, we're just sitting there fat, dumb, and happy bullshitting. And I look over at the fuel tank, at the right tank, and it's down to 3,200 in the wing, and the left tank is around 5,000, and that is way out of whack. So long story short, I think it was the left center tank was not pumping fuel. Or excuse me, the right center tank was not pumping fuel, and had we not caught it in time, we may not have been able to fill up the wing tank. It may have burnt down faster. So we basically had to cross feed for almost the entire flight. I say we were cross feeding for about 2.5 hours just to equalize the tanks. There was obviously a fault in the system.
Because otherwise it was going to be asymmetrical and would have been the issue.
Right. Otherwise, I mean, there was obviously a fault in the system that wasn't being reported, but the bottom line is nothing warned us about it, and if we hadn't have caught that by looking at the fuel pages, we'd have been in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
I'm going to uninstall that software because we didn't have that problem the last time, remember?
The fly with Lua, it's got no influence. It's either you have a script that actually does something, or
right. I do have a script in there, but But the problem is, I don't think it's supposed to affect the weather because I'll tell you what program it is. It is. Just message the guy. Why is it not there? Okay, so the program is called Xvision.
Oh yeah, that messes up with the that messes up with the visual settings. Yes.
So I'll take that out.
I had problems and issues with people in the past with that.
Well, live and learn.
Yeah. So meanwhile, I'm debugging the stuff and
All right, so over Mike Lima Sierra, we're supposed to have 8.3, and that's exactly what we have.
wow.
So it got caught up there, I think, once the winds kicked in.
Yeah, possible, yeah.
How much longer is the TVT supposed to last, you know?
I think it's a couple days before we actually switch to. I don't know when they're going to pull up the update for, but it's a matter of I would say a couple days.
Yeah, that was funny. I was telling you earlier, but when I was listening to that podcast, you know how Ihawk had that that funny laugh when he said, "We got some surprises for you."
Well, obviously, we want to have surprises for people.
Yeah,
Why not?
it's just.
I mean, why not?
Well, it was an evil laugh, like it's going to be some evil surprises.
No, come on. You know better than that.
Well, I'm pretty impressed with the way it's running so far. I mean, we had 28, 30 plus people on there, and it's just it's.
I saw that the other day.
smooth.
28. Yeah.
I mean, that's only 22 shy from the max we ever had at Falcon Online. So, I mean, I know that can make a big difference, but I haven't seen really any major glitches. The only thing I saw was with the guy that was had a lower connection, and you know his gear.
But any game would actually.
Yes, his gear wasn't showing up. Chalks were still on the airplane, so. And we talked about it, and he had his settings wrong, so he adjusted them. So hopefully it's fixed. But man, you really got to you really have to plan. You just about have to refuel before you go up every time. And we we refueled while you guys were on the tanker the other day, and. We got up there, and our number one was just finishing up, and a 3-ship rolled in, and they had some low fuel. The guy was 3,200. It wasn't too bad. I mean, that's plenty of fuel, just depending on how good he is at tanking. But yeah, it was nice to see those ships flying off the wing there, the left wing, while you tank up and then head out. It's pretty cool.
That's everything we wanted to see.
And as long as people don't move the steer points around with the tanker, it pretty much is right on. And the only thing I've noticed, and I asked Bad Boy where to put it. He told me is the ATIS and what they tell you for what's the QNH, winds and stuff like you'll come in from your mission, you'll come back and you'll check the ATIS and it'll say runway 23. But when you actually talk with approach and tower, it's 5. So something's a little off there, maybe.
Okay. I'm checking that weather button to see how I'm going to sync it better.
Well, this gives us a good chance. I mean, you especially when we do this together on these longer flights to see these bugs. If there's, and just smash the little
Yeah.
ones, the tiny ones that sneak up, that aren't so common maybe.
Yeah.
All right, Max, I'm going to step away for a minute.
No worries. Go ahead.
You have the controls. Just request
I
them
have
so
the
I can
controls.
send them your way.
All right. Requested.
There you go. I'll be back.
See ya. All right. If you guys got questions, don't hesitate. We're here for that. You're the only one here. Correct. It's probably too early for the US. Meanwhile, I'm going to check as well the brake stuff. It's not working well. Check if I have anything here. to see those values on the ground, probably. What was my first flight sim? Flight Simulator 2.0 was my first flight sim. But if you really listen to the podcasts, you should have known that. I'm just kidding. But I think I did that on the bonus track from the podcast. I think we started discussing about old games and stuff like this, and I definitely started around 6 or 7 years old, and my first sim was actually Flight Simulator 2.0. At that time, those were only lines and triangles and shapes, basically. And I had only a screen with 4 colors, so there was no way for me to actually display more than 4 colors on this computer. So it was Flight Simulator 2.0, and I think I also spent some time with Falcon 80. I remember Falcon 80, and that one was definitely 4 colors. I understand. And Craig, so what was your first sim? I think you never told me which one was. What was your first sim? I'm not sure you actually told me. Oh, Microsoft Flight Sim. Okay. $2,000. Okay, I see. Okay, yeah, Flight Sim 98. The 2000 was the one with the Concorde on it. Then came one that has been quite forgotten, which is 2002. Then 2004, which was the Century of Flight. Then FSX. And actually, after FSX, I went straight for. I mean, I spent a couple years with FSX, and then I went for Xplane. Xplane 9.2 or 0.2, I think, or Xplane 9.2, I think it was at that time. And after that, I went for. Yeah, no, and since then, actually, Xplane 9.2, 9.3 was actually more stable and way better. And I switched completely to Xplane. I forgot about a flight simulator series. Tried a couple of times P3D, but I mean the way the flight models are actually being handled. From a P3D perspective, it was just legacy of what was called ESP. So ESP was the professional engine that was built out of FSX, because basically, so Lockheed Martin bought the ESP license to Microsoft when they ceased the flight sim stuff. And the consumer market license was then from FSX was then sold to Dovetail, who made the FSX Team Edition. And since then, let's be honest, I would say that Lockheed Martin has been playing a lot on the borderline of the consumer market, because obviously they've been selling a lot of licenses to people that actually are not real student pilots, or are not attempting to sell their or to pass their pilot license. So yeah, all in all, I'm interested to see what Flight Simulator 2020 will bring in the end. I do have my hands on it, to be honest, but it will be interesting to see where we go with that. Oh, you're back. Well, we were discussing about our first flight sims. Okay. So, and for you, Sandman, what was your first flight sim? Well, yeah, but I started with the 2.0, which was probably the one you're speaking about. Was it 95 or 98? Because I think there was a 3.0. Yeah, 95, you're right. So, okay. So I started with, actually I missed, I was mistaking. My first flight sim was actually Flight Simulator 3.0 and not 2.0. Then I switched to 98, and then I had a couple years off flight sims, or at least civil flight sims. I went back with I think I tried the 2002, 2000. I think I did try it. 2002, barely touching it. 2004, damn, I spent a lot of time on it. Flight Simulator X, actually, yes, spent a lot of time on it. And then Xplane, right after FSX Xplane. What's your concern, Craig? Alright, let's check. We're quite far, actually. I was checking the fuel, we're still good. No leaks. What specifically would you be looking for in terms of
just to see if the amount of fuel over a certain fix in the plan is the same as the fuel that we have on board. Like, look at GFK.
Yeah, I was looking at that, and I was actually pulling up the data from the fuel page, and the burn plus the fuel on board actually matches the it matches the initial departure fuel.
Good. And like I see on the MCDU, it shows 6.1 over GFK.
Yep.
So then I look at the flight plan, and it also shows 6.1, so we're right on.
Okay. I'm checking the Discord, and it's saying that the that Stussy went to Mach 2.4 in BMS. Stussy actually was 2.4. He went Mach 2.4 on BMS. It's probably faster than what he ever did in the real plane. He's actually flying all week. I spoke with him a bit earlier today. Uh-huh. I think this is the smart brake stuff that is actually interfering with the braking system. On the Airbus stuff. It's a matter of a couple of days. I mean, we're not going to release anything before the 11.5 goes release candidate. This is usually what we do. We don't go before release candidate because there are too many things changing, and between one beta version to the other, and some stuff that was maybe broken, they would actually put it back as a compatibility request. So is it worth making the effort of shifting if they are going to revert the development on some subjects because they said, well, we might be going a bit too far on this or that, so we don't want to waste efforts on stuff that are currently going to change.
Okay.
Well, we're at it. I'm still going to check the information from the airfield. Thunder Bay. Oh, I thought Sky Vector would get the charts right out of spot, but they actually don't.
Yeah, you'll have to go on the, it's the Canada website, I think, or whatever source you use.
Yeah. How is it called again?
CYQT?
No, but the there's a common naming convention for the chart stuff.
Oh, is it like the ICAO or?
No, it's different. Like yeah, electronic AIP.
Ah, okay.
Airport information something. Yeah. Usually you would be looking for the electronic AIP. Oh, openaip.net. What is that?
Sorry.
Oh, I think I found the website. Alright, so AIP stands for Aeronautical Information Products. Oh, I think they have only a single. Okay. I think they have a single PDF with all the airfields inside it. Ah, come on. It's taking forever to load, obviously. But in theory, those charts are supposed to be a free service, right?
Yeah, they are. It's what I understand.
I mean, in Europe, we have Eurocontrol, and every country under Eurocontrol would find their charts being published by Eurocontrol as well.
There's 3 sources, and I cannot remember. I think you're on the one source that I know of for like the Canadian charts.
So CYQT, can I find that? How is the what's the name again of the airfield? Thunder Bay. Okay. Thunder
Yeah,
Bay.
YQT.
Yeah, but I'm checking. It doesn't find anything with Thunder Bay. Oh, I need to download Cap 4 or Cap 6. Okay, Cap 4. Oh shit. Because what I have currently is oh, okay, I misread. Current issue. There we go. I think I found the right page this time. Or maybe not.
Is there any way to make the pop-out MCDU bigger or no?
No. Not at this stage. Let's face it, their website is total. I can't say the word because it's rated young. But you cannot find the information quickly in there. It's just so horrible. makes no sense. Because I have okay, so I found the British Columbia one, but I don't know where to find the others. So I am like the Cap 4. No way I can get it.
Let me see if I can dig something up here. Hold on.
Yeah. I found a website. I don't know if it's going to be what I want. Oh, we have to prepare the descent at some point.
Indeed. I'm kind of tinkering with that myself right now.
Okay. I'm checking the weather information.
We still got quite a ways, but any time is fine. And let's see, the weather will update in 15 minutes, so might as well just wait on the weather till that till 21Z.
Well, I can check the NOTAM or the TAF actually. The wind seems to be pretty consistent. Last report was saying 310, 13 knots. Variable from 260 to 350.
Okay, well, we'll stick with 2.5 then.
I'm checking the TAF if I see anything.
So you have final approach working on this?
I'm not very... Okay, let me check. Okay, I'm alright. You want me to start Inputting values? What's the...
No, not right now. I mean, you could put in preliminary if you want, like for the weather for the performance page, if you want to do that. Yeah, that's fine. I've pretty much got the approach set up. All we have to do is enter the landing data, and you can put that in now if you want, and then when we get the updated weather, we'll just finalize it, and then I'll brief it. So we're showing touching down at 21:42, so somewhere around just past the top of the hour we'll start our descent.
So last weather report I see was at 20 Zulu. So we have a QNH of altimeter settings 29er. Oh, interesting. Temperature 1 degree Celsius. It's cold.
Yes, it is. Canada.
Yeah. Wind 310. 13 knots. So it's a 07 or 12. No, 0725 or 1230. And the 0725 is 6200. And the other one is 5300.
Sorry, man. What'd you say again?
It's either given the wind, it will be either a 30 or a 25. So 30 or 25 for the runway, and the 25 is actually 6200.
Yeah, we'll use the long one.
Okay, so it's a 25 then.
Yeah.
Okay, so data is set in. Let me check the. Have you already set up the star procedure or?
Yeah, it's in there. You can just double check it.
Okay.
What charge do you not have?
Currently found a website. Probably have what I need.
Okay.
TIGAG 1. Ah, come on. Thank you, sir.
No problem.
Oh, POSCON says that they're already supporting the new pre-3D version.
That's nice.
Well, I have to admit, so far so good.
Yeah, this it's not a super long flight, but you just you know, a lot can go wrong.
Yeah. Well, in the future, we're not going to sync for now the we're not going to sync the failures, but that's something that we're thinking of.
Is there an extensive list of failures or just basic stuff?
No, if we start syncing failures, then in this case it would just
Yeah, it's going to get
pull up.
complex.
Yeah, that depends on the type of trigger that you have and if the pattern is always the same or some variables are set. I just don't have the information, to be honest, so. Dual engine failure. Craig is requesting for an engine failure, but I'm not going to risk that for now.
That's a whole.
At 50,
That's
at
a whole
50 nautical miles
process.
from the airport, shut them both and make things really, really interesting.
Is the rat simulated?
Yeah.
Well, the fun part is the glide down, but the not so much fun part is the page after page after page of ECAM messages and procedures and what's not going to work when you get on the ground, what is going to work.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
He wants to test you, actually. That's why he's saying that.
Well, the person that's going to be tested is you. I'll be flying. You're the one that's going to be doing all the work.
Oh, shoot, yeah. Like, I have only the normal procedures pulled out. I would need to find my PDF on the abnormal procedure.
Stick and rudder, man. That's all I got to do. Just fly it. In my last recurrent, I tried to get the guy to put me at like 6,000 or 7,000 over the field because I wanted to do the high key, low key with the Airbus. Yeah. Because I think it's very similar to the F-16, but I think the altitudes are too high because this thing doesn't sink like a rock. Plus, if you do something like that with engine failures, you need to have trim buttons set up for the rudder trim, stuff like that.
You don't have that?
No.
Oh, but the trim is not going to work on both sides. This is the problem
Right.
if you've got being manual.
Well, you know, normally, like if this happens in the airplane, I don't even look down. I just reach my hand down and I grab it, and I you know, turn it in the proper direction for 12 seconds, and then that's very close, and then I just look at the beta target and see where that's at, and just center it up, and that's it. Autopilot on. That's it. It's one of the easiest planes to fly with the engine failure.
You lazy boy.
Hey, it's all about resource management, man.
you have enough to deal with the passengers, probably.
Well, you know, we were taken off to Cairo in the middle of the night, and as soon as we got airborne, the weather radar failed, and we don't have a backup. So,
Oh yeah.
for obvious reasons, you don't want to fly at night with no weather radar. Now, if you're halfway to Cairo, or you know, or wherever your destination is, you know, you got to kind of look at the weather reports and decide, you know, is it safe to continue or what? Because on a clear night with a full moon, you can see the ground from 37,000 feet.
Wow.
Yeah. So it's, you know, this was a pitch black night. You couldn't see anything. So I elected to come back and land, but we were 4 tons overweight, I think. So it's a whole, you know, it's not an exhausting procedure, an overweight landing, but it is a procedure. And when you're flying and trying to make sure the other guy's doing what he's supposed to do,
So that means if you're overweight in this case, you would need to spend some fuel before you actually touch down.
well, that would have cost us about 3 hours of flying around with the gear down.
Oh yeah.
And it would have cost the company a lot of money. The flight probably would have been, well, it would have been super delayed, maybe canceled, because it would have been close to us timing out for the round trip. So I elected to do an overweight landing, which saves time, money, and it's a procedure in the book. And as long as you land below a certain foot per minute, no inspections required based on your weight. In the FCTM, it shows, I think, 360. I'd have to look at it again, but 360 foot a minute, and I touched down at 100 foot a minute, so it was no big deal. But there is a procedure. There is some, you know, stuff you have to go through. So what I just do is I just give the controls to the pilot monitoring, to the first officer, and then I do all the checklists. I do all the setup. I brief the approach and do everything. And then when, you know, that's done, then I take the controls back and land.
Oh, okay.
Oh, for sure I was going to get a call on that one. You grab the latest weather then, and
I am trying. Yeah, I'm checking now. Yeah, I'm checking. I'm inputting now the last info. No big changes, to be honest, but still. Alright, latest weather at 21 Zulu. 270, 11 knots with a gust wind of 21 knots. Variable from 240 to 330. Visibility 20 miles. Scattered 800, sorry. No, scattered 080. It's 8,000, right?
Yes.
Yeah, 8,000. Temperature 2 degrees, dew point -19, altimeter settings 2991, and remarks, I can't read those. I don't even know what they mean.
All right, well, that looks like it matches what you have in there.
Yeah.
Oh, come on.
Yeah, and later on they're expecting showers and snow. And probably later on the evening the visibility will get lower because of the probably fog and snow coming up.
Okay, so I'll go ahead and do a brief then. You still have control.
Okay.
And I think this does not work. Let me just double check. Yeah, it's not going to those two. Okay.
What were you trying?
Trying the go around, acceleration, altitude, stuff like that.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
but it's not. Yeah, it is. We need an update for that. It's fixed,
Okay.
but on the next release, not on this one.
Okay, so I'll brief this up real quick. We're going to be doing the TIGAG 1. We got the weather. You said the ceiling, well, it's scattered at 8,000, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, so no problem there. Why is that so large? Okay. So it's the TIGAG 1 arrival into Thunder Bay. It's an RNAV star. It's got some descent planning instructions there. We're just going to fly the plate. We'll just assume that there's no ATC, so we'll just fly it as it's published. So we'll arrive over TIGAG, and then it's Alveb. Top of descent is going to be in 100 miles, so before TIGAG, and we'll descend on the arrow. Weather's been checked. Obviously, there's no holding procedures. The constraints, I'll go over those, and we're showing arriving at destination with 4.5 and an extra 0.5 on arrival, so that's not bad.
For runway 25, we'll have after Alveb it will be Kinun,
Yes,
Ukred,
correct.
Gabber, and Pervu.
Yeah.
And we have a constraint in terms of speed of 210 over Gabber, and then two-step descent, 6,000 minimum.
Well, going back, so look down at the bottom and left of the chart. It says aircraft planning RNAV 25 cross Euclid at or above 5. But if you look at the depiction on the chart, it's at 5. So I'm just
it says at
yeah.
5. So
we'll cross it. We'll just see what the MCD, how the airplane flies, right? Let's see how it does it. So from Alveb, then we'll go to Kinun 6 and above, and hang on a second. Plan, and this is where we go through the plan page, and yeah, it's all there. I wonder why it wasn't there the other day. Maybe there was just a hiccup because I was on the plan page, but now they're all there, so it looks good.
Yeah.
So Kinun 6 or above, Euclid will be 210 max on the speed and 5,000. And then we'll go to Gabber at a max of 210. And then if you're with ATC, you would just expect present course, manual track out for runway 25. However, since we don't have ATC here, we'll just tie that into our VIA, and we'll just roll right over here. Gabber at max 210 and 4,000, and then no lower than 3,400 prior to reaching Canev. And then the approach. So the approach plate, and I think you've got that as well, as 12-4. It's the RNAV GNS Zulu runway 25.
Mm-hmm.
So
I saw that earlier.
typically what you do when you go through these is you want to go through each sector. I didn't on these star, but for example, from Gabber, you would want to actually look on your MCDU and ensure that from Gabber to Canev is 6 miles on the chart and 6 miles on the MCDU. Well, it shows 5 on the chart, but you can have a little bit of a fluctuation there. One, because it rounds up or down, okay?
Yeah.
And then usually, 0.1 on the vertical profile, or 1 degree left or right. So it's 164 on the chart, and it shows 164 to Canev on the MCDU. So the next one then, Canev, is going to be 3,400 recommended, which is what we'll do. And then from there to Vetvi is 6 miles.
Are you playing with the arrows on your MCDU? Because I can't see you moving around actually on yours.
Playing with the arrows. Oh, because I'm doing the breakaway.
Okay.
Is it doing it now?
Yeah.
Okay. So from...
because you were using the 2D interface, right?
Yes. That's why. Okay.
That's why.
Makes sense. Okay.
You can't use the 2D interface when you are in Smart Copilot because otherwise it doesn't show on my end.
Good to know. I didn't know that.
Yeah.
So let's change a few things here then. So, because I've got the charts up on my side as well here, so we can zoom in. All right. So from Canev, it's 254 to Berob, and it's Let's see. Canev to Berob should be 6 miles. It is 254. That checks. And Berob will start down on path at 4.3 miles from Berob down to cross Berob no lower than 2,000, which will be at 2,000. And then from there it is 3.10 degrees down, and Berob to Vetvi is just 2 miles. And it's the same course, that's as well. And Vetvi to the runway is another 2 miles, and that's in the box as well, and the course matches. Now what I was going to do with this is I was going to arm final approach, okay? So once we get on, once we start to approach Gabber, I'll arm it and see how it does. And if it doesn't work, then I'll do what's called a CDFA, which is just a continuous descent using flight path vector.
Okay.
And we'll descend down. The minimums right now we'll leave them at LNAV VNAV at 965, and the highest min safe in the area is 3,400 around the airport. And it'll be a stabilized approach, so by the time we reach Berob, we'll be fully configured and stabilized, which is the final approach fix. There are some notes on this chart. Safe altitude within 100 miles is 3,400. It says terrain rises abruptly to 1,602 miles southeast of the aerodrome. And that's out over the water, sort of. Let's see. What else? We don't have uncompassable nav. LNAV, VNAV is not authorized below -25, but it's -2, I think, so that'll work. Missed approach procedure is going to be climb to 4,000, tracking 254, and we'll take that out to Fesset with a direct entry right turns, and inbound will be 254. It's not really showing very well on the MCDU, but it should. If you click on Fesset, it'll show the constraint of 4,000. And just to make sure...
Which waypoint were you currently?
If you look at the missed approach waypoint, the first point, Fesset. Okay, if you click on it, it shows 4,000. That would actually be in the MCDU, visible on the flight plan page.
Okay.
But for some reason, if we have to, we shouldn't have to go missed approach because the weather's good. If we have to go around, we can just climb up to pattern altitude, which, let's see, what's the field elevation? 1654. So we can climb up to 2200 and just enter. I'd have to look and see in the airport what traffic they would use, but I believe we'll just use left traffic, but I don't foresee that being an issue. We can actually just let the airplane fly the published mist and vector back to land.
Okay.
Let's see. Minimums is 965. We need a mile, and we'll use auto brakes low. Our landing weight is going to be about 71 tons. And for the airport, we will plan on the runway is 7,300 feet. So with auto brakes low, I should be able to, I'll try and make Delta, and then we'll clean up and we'll taxi back via Alpha and then on to Bravo into the ramp and just park at maybe the first gate there to the left.
Okay.
That's all I can think of. That's good enough for now. So if you look at the performance page, we're going to descend 307.78 will be the descent profile. Weather is set. We're going to do config full landing. VLS is 139. I added 2 knots to V approach. 1 for you, 1 for me.
Okay.
And the speed brakes are operative. I'll use max reverse due to it's not really a short runway, but it's shorter. And yeah, that's it. We'll exit left at Delta. Any questions?
No questions.
All right. All right, I'm going to just go to the bathroom real quick, and then I'll be right back.
Yep. All right. Arctic, I spotted you.
All right, sir, I'm back, and I am ready for the controls.
It is in control, you have control.
It's control 6.
You see what I told you?
Yeah, you're updating the winds. Good, good, good.
I got the descent winds, so I told you that it would actually take the data once we are close to the location.
So that's an Xplane issue, right?
That's an Xplane limitation, I would say.
Okay. Well, let's see how well the airplane performs. I'm going to set the altitude at CANAV to 3,400. And we'll see if the airplane makes all the constraints. So 3,400
check.
Blue is set. Okay, seatbelt signs coming on. TCAS is below. So if just to give you a heads up, so we got a little bit of a tailwind here, right? About maybe 20 knots.
Yeah.
If you had, let's say, 100 knot tailwind, you're gonna have a pretty steep descent path,
Yeah.
right?
So you would want to anticipate that, right?
Yeah, you can play around with that. For example, you could set a slower speed, or maybe you could change the pressurization rate that you want the cabin to descend at. So I'm going to go ahead and descent, thrust, descent. We should get an altitude constraint whenever we get down lower.
Okay.
Okay, engine anti-ice is coming up.
I was going to ask you if you wanted to.
Thanks. It'll holler at us about no ice detected, but our procedures are to turn it on in icing conditions.
Yeah. I agree.
And the Embraer, when I flew the 190, it was all automatic. When ice was detected, it would come on, and it was not detected.
really?
It was wait for 2 minutes, if I'm not mistaken. And if still no ice was detected, then it would shut it off. In a way more automated than this. Let's see, one thing I missed here that I forgot, the transition altitude should be, probably say by ATC. Transition level's 180.
Okay. I don't see anything in the charts you sent me.
Okay. So I'm getting that my scenery may not look correct because I don't have those boats, but it's not an issue. It looks just fine. Did you get that at all?
The what?
Anything about Thunder Bay, about the boats missing or anything like that?
No.
Man, I wonder what I did wrong. I'll have to look and see.
So you had a scenery issue?
Yeah, but remember, it's just 5 items. There's just some boats not in the sea. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. Won't matter after we leave here on the next flight. I'll get rid of the scenery.
Okay.
Try to keep the hard drive as clean as I can. But yeah, if you look on your arrival chart, look at the top right corner. It'll say altimeter set is in inches. Transition level 180.
Oh, okay. I see. Yeah.
Okay, so then we go into the box, and we make sure that the transition level matches this, and that's what'll give us our flashing.
Yeah, the flashing standard.
Exactly. And just confirm that's 2991, right?
Affirm. I'm going to double check with what I've got from Xplane. So Xplane says, I'm probably going to refresh the weather actually, just to see. Okay, weather has been refreshed. So I'm going to take the latest, the one from Xplane actually, so I'm going to change that.
Okay. So let me know what it is when you're done.
Alright, so so this one, okay. I think Xplane has a delay of 30 minutes to an hour on the weather,
Okay.
from what I understand. Alright, so the winds, okay, QNH is going to be 29902. And winds, I have 310 for 13 knots, variable 270 to 360.
What was it? Two what? Was it a steady wind?
Steady wind is 310, 13 knots, and variable is from 270 to 360.
Okay, we'll stick with it.
Okay.
It's
And,
it's gusty though, right?
No, there's no gust planned here.
And
It's
does
just a variable wind.
okay.
And we still have broken clouds at 17,500.
7,005.
Yeah, 7,500.
Does ground speed mini work in this?
What do you mean?
Hang on a second.
What, the 410 stuff?
So ground speed. Let's go ahead and set QNH.
Okay.
And then what you do is you say, first of all, you check all the QNHs, and there's 3. You check mine, my main one. You check the standby, and then I go down to the MCDU and make sure we have the proper QNH set there as well.
Okay.
So when I say set QNH, you say QNH set, cross-checked, passing this level, and I say check to make sure that, you know, our tolerance is good. So.
Alright, so then maybe we should check the next level we're passing in this case.
So you say QNH set and check, passing 16 whatever now.
Okay, so yeah, QNH set, cross-check, and passing 160 now.
That's checked and no difference. And now it's time for the approach checklist.
Okay. Approach checklist. Briefing.
Confirmed.
ACAM status.
Checked.
Seat belts.
On.
Barrel ref.
I've got QNH 299 altimeter 29902 set.
Altimeter 29902 set. Minimum.
Is 965 set.
And 965 set. Yep. Engine mod select.
Normal.
Approach checklist complete.
That's it. So now we've got alt magenta, which is good.
Yep. I see you removed the engine anti-ice.
Yeah, I did. Another layer popped up. If we're below 10 degrees Celsius, we're going to go through these clouds. Just put it back on.
Okay. So you would be monitoring which one? The
TAT.
TAT?
Yeah.
Okay. Currently it's -1.
Yeah, we should go through a few of them. Go ahead and turn the engine anti-ice on.
Okay. Alright, on.
So that dot is our speed reduction, so that's for 250. Ooh, weather update. It's solid now, the clouds are solid. I was seeing a broken layer, maybe even a scattered layer earlier.
Okay.
Do you see a pretty solid layer of clouds?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Same thing here.
Can't get my thing right here.
Plane is slowing down the.
Yep. Okay, 10,000 checks. So that the lights, the landing lights.
yeah, sorry.
Just the landing lights. And ding the flight attendant, seatbelt on and off. Go down, and the only thing I didn't really set is the rad nav page, because there's really no VOR to tune to here. And then the other thing you would check is just make sure that's set, and then you would see look at the progress page and make sure it says GPS primary with high accuracy.
Yeah.
And if it was an ILS, you'd turn the LS on for both of us, but since it's a non-precision approach, we don't need that. And that's the 10,000
and
checks.
you would go into the nav RAD to set the others, right?
No, you would just verify frequencies and courses.
Ah,
like
okay.
if,
It's also set. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's also set.
like if we were using, say, a VOR as a backup, or maybe we were doing a VOR approach and we wanted that in there, then you would just check that.
Okay.
Looks like the radar is off. Because, see, it's missing the tilt of the radar, and I'm not sure if you guys are
No. There's nothing.
modeling that or
only-
not.
No.
Okay.
And I think Xplane only shows the. Oh, it's funny. It says ice not detected.
Yeah, let's see. What's the temperature now?
-2.
Yeah, see, not all of these have ice detectors, and if you have the anti-ice on with no ice detection, it just lets you know.
Okay.
But even in our aircraft that has that, our procedure still is just to turn it on.
Leave it on.
Yeah.
Okay.
Doesn't hurt anything.
Yeah.
May hurt your descent profile a little bit because of a higher N1, but that's it.
Okay. But once you're out of the clouds, do you leave it on?
I leave it on for maybe a minute,
Okay.
We were going into Denver, Colorado one night, dropped into the soup about the final approach fix, and within 10 to 15 seconds I had high vibrations on the engine. When we got on the ground, we had 3/4 of an inch of ice on every surface that was unheated, including the blades and the spinner of the engine. Unbelievable, right? 3/4 of an inch of ice in 15 seconds. Well,
Wow.
high vibes in 15 seconds because the ice was sticking to the blades. And in fact, when it gets that bad, when you get on the ground, you can't de-ice the engines. You have to take a heater and heat the blades to melt all the ice off. I mean, the aircraft was down for a couple hours. So anyway, yeah, it's better to go in and be cautious with the engines. You don't want anything to happen.
Yeah, I'll have to show you something after the stream, actually.
So, okay, so we made our constraint at Kinun, 6 and above. Looks,
Yep.
we should get a decel point here for 210. There she is, off to the right.
Yay.
See, I like going into these smaller airports.
There you go, yeah.
When you get to Chicago or you get to Philly or Newark and you have a 4-hour wheels up time, you sit in the terminal for 2 hours and then you go out, take the airplane out, park it somewhere and sit another hour and then taxi for 45 minutes. It's a disaster. All right, engine. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, should get an out constraint here.
I see it.
It'll come. Well, out constraint star, if I'm not mistaken, but it's been 6 weeks since I flew. Out there it is, out constraint. Sent blue. It did activate the approach phase already. So I think our speed is supposed to be 210 max here, so I'm going to need flaps 1 to do that, but just wait a second. All right.
Do we?
Flaps 1?
Flaps 1.
So you say, first of all, you check the speed, and you see the 2 little orange marks there on the speed indicator. Yep. That's VFE next.
Okay.
So you always make sure it's below that.
Okay.
At least
okay,
10.
Flaps 1 set.
At least 10 knots. Okay, speed selected at 210. Descent green, out magenta, and the next constraint is 4,000 or above. Let's see what it does. Supposed to wait until you get to the final fix before your final descent, but we'll see what happens.
Okay, so should we activate the landing systems or
such as
the LS? Close the,
no, that's ILS. This is
okay, there's no
yeah.
ILS. Okay.
Yeah.
Does it change anything? Because I mean, there's no ILS on that runway, right?
No, but you'll get a flashing.
Would you get?
Yeah.
Okay.
Turn yours on. You should get a flashing warning. Yeah, there it is. VDEV. See it flashing on your.
Okay. Yeah. Vertical deviation.
Yeah. So turn it off. All right. Let's slow things down here a little bit. 200. Selected. And yeah, I don't think it's going to work here, so we'll see. All right, let's just go ahead, thrust idle open descent, and we'll take it down to 3,400 blue. Now, for some reason, this will not arm whenever I get to the final fix. I mean, there's other constraints in here. I didn't really go over them. We'd have to look at the required navigation performance, which there's nothing specific set for it, but usually, well, it depends on what you do, but 0.3, it could be down to 0.1. I'm not going to descend like a rocket here, so I'll set 195. This is really slow for being this far out, but I just want to have time to watch and see what it's going to do.
Okay.
All right, so CANEV 3,400, and you can see we're below the VDEV point, so I'm going to go vertical speed minus 5. Okay. Okay, so bear R, so let's go flaps 2.
Flaps 2.
Okay, set 180. I thought I tried this once before in, yeah, there it is. See, that's correct. A little bit high here. Speed's managed. Gear down.
Gear down.
Arm the speed brakes. Rest of the lights come on. Auto brakes low. And the reason we're slowing down is we're supposed to be fully configured by the final approach fix of Barob.
Okay.
2,500.
RA's alive. You just check on yours. And you just say checked if it is.
What is the line? Sorry.
Not sure why this thing is acting this way. Let's. You're turning my speed. Flaps 3.
Flaps 3.
Yeah.
No, I was not touching the speed. It's just the.
I'm not sure why this is doing this.
It's Smart Copilot and the. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay. Well. All right. Clear that, please. I moved the thrust out so it wouldn't get down below VLS. Flaps full.
Flaps full.
There needs to be we need to have a click in here so that you actually hear when it clicks when you're in a thrust set position. All right, set missed approach altitude of 4,000, please.
4,000.
And landing checklist. 4,000 blue.
All right, landing checklist. Cabin crew.
Advised.
Auto thrust.
Is speed.
Auto brake.
Low.
ECAM memo.
Is landing no blue.
Landing checklist complete.
Thanks. So smart, that's kind of why I wanted to bump the speeds up a couple knots, because I wasn't sure how it was going to react.
No, it's just changing the speed, but your plane is not going to react according to the value that is shown. So it's just a value that is shown, a face value, but it doesn't really affect you.
Yeah, it's starting to do some. I heard speed, but I'm not sure. I think that's just a sync issue.
Yeah.
Okay, oops, there's 1,000 feet checked. Okay, autopilot's coming off. And auto thrust is off. I'm going to do this manual thrust. You can turn my flight directors off as well.
Copy.
And turn the birdie on. Flight path vector. The one right in the middle, FPV.
This one.
There you go.
FPA. Yeah.
I'm a little high here because I'm trying to look and help you out. So let's get to centered.
400.
There we go.
300.
Not sure why that did that.
200.
Sync rate. Sync.
100.
Okay, correcting.
100 above.
Check.
50. 40. 30. Retard. 10. 5.
My rudders aren't doing so good here.
Oh, I have to brake with you, no?
No. I think it's okay.
It's okay.
But my rudder pedals are a little mushy. All right. So you need a 3-minute cool down after using anything over idle, so start your timer over there. Do we want to make this one here? Let's just do a 180 on the runway here. Actually, we'll use the runway. We just get permission.
Okay, you're in backtrack.
Yeah, I'm sure they do that right here because of the airport layout.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I was acting a little weird on the approach. The speed was. I heard speed, but mine was like, the approach plus 10 or so.
No, it's probably a sync issue between the two planes. So I'm interested to see how the
the different. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I'm checking. I want to check the brake stuff because it's was not working before correctly. To brake.
Okay, so if you would, landing lights off, strobes off, and nose light to taxi. And you can start your procedure there.
Okay.
Okay, just so you know, I don't think I have brakes. But I don't think yours are going to work, right?
Yeah, and mine's are working actually.
Why is that, since you don't have control?
I don't know. This is something I need to figure out.
Gotcha. All right, I'll let you know if I need you again. Just keep your feet, covering the brakes.
Yeah. No worries.
And I noticed this on just about every airplane. These brakes are way too hot. It just doesn't happen that fast. If it, if you use low auto brakes like in Riyadh, when it's 45, 46 degrees Celsius, it gets upper 300s, but it takes it a long time.
What's your current temperature? Because I don't think we are in sync for that.
I got 500, 600. I think we're going to blow a tire.
Oh, but I have 270s, you see? So this is the freedom.
So I got the brake fans on. Okay, after landing checklist, please.
After landing checklist. Flaps.
Retracted.
Spoilers.
Disarmed.
APU.
Start.
Radar.
Yeah, go ahead and start the APU. That way we'll be ready for us at the gate. APU start. What's next?
Radar.
Off.
And predictive wind shear system.
Is off.
Yeah, it's not simulated anyway.
Okay. All right, little help here with the brakes. Basically, the brakes are yours, so.
Okay. Let's put on the parking brake for now. Just put on quickly the parking brake.
Okay.
All right. I'm going to disconnect quickly and let's see how it handles. I've made a few modifications on my file. I want to see if you're going to be able to brake on your end as well.
Okay.
So hold on a minute. All right, join back. All right, now check if. All right, move forward and see if your brakes are now responding.
Okay. Yes. No, they're not.
They're not.
Give me the give me controls there for.
Oh, sorry. Yeah.
Just to make sure.
There we go.
I'll add a little power here. Nope.
No, they're not. Okay.
So I'll tell you what. Request the controls.
Mines are working though.
Are they?
Hold on.
Okay, I'll set the brakes.
Parking brake is on. I see that. I want to check why it's doing that. I think I have an idea about why it's doing it, but I need to confirm that quickly.
The other thing that's interesting is I'm flying with a pressure stick, so it's a total different feeling between the real aircraft. It's better to fly with a spring stick.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Yeah, because there's
no the one from the F-16, so obviously.
Yeah, so it's just like, I just barely touched that in the F-16, and if I do that in this airplane, it doesn't react.
Okay.
Yeah. I may hook up just a cheap, Logitech Pro or something, just because it's got a different feel.
Mm-hmm. I'm going to request the controls.
Okay.
Okay. Now I'm checking what's okay, let me check. I think I might have one thing. And I'm going to do the same thing with the tiller actually.
Well, you know, I tested those before we started the flight, and they worked.
It was, you said it was a bit slushy and not working very good. Yeah, I'll see if that goes. Pedal.
I see you guys have simulated the IRS, the difference between. You see how your ground speed is 0 and mine's 1?
Mm-hmm.
That-
Yeah, there is
Yeah. If it gets too far, like past 5, you have to look at the time you flew, and then you may have to write it up.
huh.
Yeah, but it's neat to see that because there's a difference. There usually is a little bit of a difference each flight,
Okay.
especially if it's a long
All right.
flight.
Well, let's see if how that goes this time. All right. Yeah, you can request controls again.
Well, rejoin, right?
Yeah, rejoin. Yeah. Okay, and then I release controls and see how it goes this time.
Okay, I was just checking the tiller. I think I've got tiller, but it's not much. And it's hard to say. It does look like it's going a little bit left and then a little bit right, but it's not much. So let's try the brakes. Yes, I've got some brakes now.
Brakes working?
Yeah, a little bit. Let's see if it stops. Yes, they're working good.
Ah, good. So I've solved the brakes issues.
Alright, let's get some juice here. Get it turned around.
I need to check about the tiller though. Are you controlling that with the with your pedals?
I'm
or,
using the rudder. Yeah, it's quite awkward.
Okay.
But we got to do what we got to do. All right, so taxi light and turn off lights off. This is not. My chair's got wheels on it too, so, so my chair's going backwards. I still got it, I think. Yeah, hold on. Whoa, we're moving fast now. Give me some brakes, Max, quick.
So it's not working.
Yeah, it dropped out again. Okay, park and brake is set. AP bleed on, please.
AP bleed on.
All right. All right, now all you do is turn off the fuel pumps, and that's it. You do your, you check the difference between 1, 2, and 3 for the IRs, but that's, that's it. The 2 center pumps, the transfer pumps, and that is it. Parking checklist.
Parking checklist. APU bleed.
On.
Engines.
Off.
Seat belts.
Off.
External lights.
Set.
Fuel pumps.
Are off.
Parking brakes and chokes.
They're set.
Parking checklist complete.
Well, you've been a fine first officer. Very
Thank
good.
you.
No, it's very good, very good. So it was a good flight. It was fun. I spent probably 30 minutes in there making dinner, though. Were you keeping everybody informed and discussions and stuff? Did I miss out on that?
Not much. I mean,
Okay.
we've been discussing the good old days about flight simulation.
Yeah. Well, that is it, man. Good flight. And should we save the situation file like this, or do you want to start just a new one?
No, we'll start over
Okay.
from for our next time, as
All right.
we will have a fresh plane to start with.
Yes. Not the same tail number.
Yeah.
Well, the next one's yours, so you plan it and set everything up, and
Okay.
you
have
get to pick the destination too. So.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's going to be interesting.
So let's see where you pick.
Yeah.
Well, you got to make a decision though. Are we going to cross the pond, or are we going to go up over Greenland and Iceland? Because that should. Yeah.
Well, in this case, we'll probably leave it running for a while and.
Well, that can be done, and the nice thing is those auto saves on the situation if it does crash
Yeah.
or something. But yeah, we can certainly do that. Just watch some movies, whatever.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't
Probably.
mind doing the full flight. It's not that bad from the East Coast.
No, but it's very long for nothing. I probably
Exactly.
have better things to do meanwhile than having a computer running and just faking a flight. So.
Well, that green that runway in Greenland, you saw me take the 319 up there. That's a fun one.
Oh, really? Oh, then
Yeah, it's
we'll
got
see. But
that,
I doubt if the 21 will be adapted for that runway.
The what?
Is the 21 okay for that kind of airfield or?
Well, you'll have to check that out, I guess.
Okay.
But yeah, we'll look at it. It's
Thank you, Vicken.
the only issue. I mean, I don't think there's an issue with the tail strike awareness, but the runway slopes up. The question will be the length of the runway as far as takeoff. But the data he's got in there should calculate it. It's a down.
And we'll see what the performance wise is then.
It's a down slope, so you do have to be cautious with the takeoff, right, for the tail strike.
Okay.
I mean, this is one. If you do go there, you just basically pitch up a little bit and just let it slowly fly off. Because these 321s, they do have tail strike issues.
Okay, because they're a bit too.
Yeah, they extended
too long.
further back. Yeah.
Well, people, we're going to close the stream now. It's been fun, and well, we hope to see you for the next leg that I'm going to prepare to get into. Well,
I'll go ahead and sign off here. I see I only had one viewer, but hopefully you enjoyed the flight. The main thing for my stream was pretty much just to give you the perspective from the other side. So we're going to continue another flight after this on our around the world tour in the shared cockpit of the ToLiss. So look for Max's announcement, or I'll probably put one up as well. Thanks for viewing, and stream is over. Have a good night.